knows what we're doing here. Holy Spirit knows what's going on.
Welcome back, party people. We're on our way up north. Oh, I'm sorry. Thanks for another On the Road with BP. I'm your fabulous host, Jake. This is where you introduce yourself.
Oh, and I'm his little brother, Clint.
You don't have to tell anybody that.
Oh.
You can be your own standalone character.
Oh.
This is Clinton, Sir Clinton, we call him. The good-looking one. He's the body, I'm the brains. I hate that shit. We're on our way up north. We're on a biannual camping trip to the future site of the BP Ranch.
Yeah, I guess it's my first visit, so.
But yeah, taking Sir Clinton up to BP Ranch for the first time, I guess. We're on the wonderful road. Here, flip it around real quick. We're on the driving our way up through historic northern Arizona. A beautiful, beautiful run, I might add. 100 degrees in the city today. So we were just discussing how we were working the property, how we were prepping the property, because we haven't had it. We are hesitant to do too much before we properly have it surveyed, in fears that we would start, doing things on somebody else's property or off our own, basically where we don't have control. So we kind of set up camp on the edge of the property and are working our way from one side to the other, tentatively, so we don't cause any issues. We were digging up cactus and spiky aloe style cacti, I guess, too. I don't know what they are. Burning them, just as a nice way to prep the land. We were also talking about making a hiking trail, which we've already started. We have the trailhead. We call it Site A. That's campsite.
Is there much wood outside of that fallen tree?
Yeah, there's a ton of it. What's nice is this is wooded. I also, and it's unfortunate you didn't watch our On the Road with BP, because we drove up through there so you could see all the trees and stuff specifically. But we also, on that one, talked about it. I spliced in about 30 seconds, maybe a minute, where we hiked from one side to the other of the property. It was snowing the snow was pretty deep, so it was kind of rough to get around. And everybody was giving me shit. They're like, oh, you're breathing kind of heavy. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? For one, I'm in elevation. But for two, we just hiked like 3 miles. Like, what the fuck? But it was fun. But just showing you some of the bigger trees. It was a big open spot, but one of the trees there was, I don't know, a good 30, 40 feet tall. So just to get some idea of how the foliage is in the area. Mostly junipers, probably about 20 or 30 feet tall. Some pine, some dwarf pine. We're trying to push the pines out. You can just pick up pine cones and bury them. Hopefully the squirrels don't get to them. Huge squirrel problem. Fucking place is full of nuts.
Yeah.
No, not really. But this is, we went and looked up a lot of properties in the area. And so there are squirrels, javelina, deer, mule deer, and I forget what the other ones are, the small ones, and also elk too. This place has it all. And I came up with the girls. We were on our way back from California, and I wanted to show them the property, so we stayed the night in Kingman, and then the next morning drove out to Sligman, and then drove back to the city the next day. Well, later that day, so I could show them the area, kind of what it was like before we bought the property. I didn't want to buy it without having her take a look.
What about venomous animals?
Well, I'm sure there's rattlesnakes and scorpions and probably tarantula, but I didn't see anything like that. I did see all of those other animals we named, including squirrels, the first time I came up with Stephanie and Jackie. Like, legit, like everywhere we went, there was just fucking animals around. Rabbits and shit. But last time we came up, we didn't see anything. And that was in the spring. But it's definitely, I would say, rattlesnake country. Probably, right? Might be a little cold.
Well, yeah, this time of year, they're all...
It's going to be 45 at night, so there ain't no way snakes are going to be out doing shit in that.
landscape?
Well, I mean, it's highland desert probably for the most part, but it's strictly an elevation thing in Arizona. So once you get above a certain elevation, it doesn't matter. It's like wooded and whatever. So it's so funny because the piece of property that we have is actually the highest spot in the land. So if you go up through northern Arizona on the 40, in between Williams Peak and Kingman, we're on the highest elevation in between those two areas. So as you drive down the 40, you can just look over. I guess it would be south. I'd have to look at a map for sure, but I think it's south. And you can see where we are because it's literally the highest part. And so once you get close to where we are, it just completely changes. It goes from like highland desert to like lowland forest. Like this, you see it. You physically drive through that 1 foot of elevation. That is the difference. It's so funny. It's cool, actually.
Sounds like a choice piece of land.
It is. It's actually, it's not the only one we could afford. It was the biggest one we could afford, but it had to meet certain criteria for us to actually get it. Number one is it had to be accessible by car. And I don't mean like just vehicle. I mean literally like a car. You had to be able to drive a car up there. It had to have woods, and then we had to be able to afford it. Those were like the three things. And so it met all those things and was basically the biggest piece of land we could buy that met all of the criteria. Because it's 40 acres square or whatever. It's pretty fucking big. Quarter mile by quarter mile, maybe a little bit more.
Has anyone built any cabins and shit?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of properties that we're on as far out as you can go, basically. But on the way up there, there's definitely a ton of properties. And once you get about halfway there, there's no way they have water or power. So I guarantee you that they're fucking hauling their own water, and they probably have a system of either solar panels or generators or both. I guarantee. But you'll see. As you get closer to the property, it gets sparser and sparser, but especially at the beginning. It's about 45 minutes off the highway. If you're not towing anything, you can just drive, 15, 20. And maybe an hour if you're towing a trailer like we are today. But it's not too bad. First half an hour or so, there's a ton of people. Last 15 minutes, there ain't so much. There's like nothing. It's great. And since we bought it at the beginning of this very year, our Lord's year of 2023 or whatever, the property next to ours, which is only accessible through our property, and that other one I was talking about that had the road on it, they're selling it for $47,000. So we ended up ultimately paying $29,000 for ours because I was able to talk them down from $35,000. But the one next to ours, which is it's not nearly as nice as ours, and it definitely isn't as accessible as ours. They're trying to sell for almost $50,000. That's almost twice what we paid for.
Did values just shoot up that much in the last?
Values have been, yeah. And that's the thing, is we're outside of Williams, and one of the reasons we actually looked in this area specifically was because the land itself is outside of Williams. Williams is the next big town. Williams is about 20 minutes away, 20 miles away roughly, which translates to about 20 minutes down the highway. Williams, you say, who the fuck? Williams, Arizona. What is that? Nothing. But apparently it's the one town that you have to drive through to get to the Grand Canyon. And it turns out the Grand Canyon is one of the biggest tourist destinations in the entire world. And something like 12 or 14 million people go through Williams every year. And so Williams, while it has a very low population, is huge. It has amusement parks. The Polar Express is there. That's the train that they dress up like Santa Claus and drive up to the Grand Canyon. Like all this. I don't know what is going on here. Hopefully not too much. People being idiots. All right, bust out your phone real quick. and check and see where we are. Because I think we should be getting pretty close. Maybe another 15 minutes.
Oh, my ears just popped. Not good. I don't know if I'm gonna get bars.
Okay, let's run a shot.
I got some. It says 14 miles from here.
Let's see, I told you, right about 15 minutes.
GPS signal lost.
Perfect timing. Well, we know what time it is. I just wanted to get a rough idea of where we're at. And so, Williams itself is what's blowing up. Because, like I said, amusement park, Arizona, the amount of traffic that goes through there. They're building a bunch of huge resorts. So, and they have an airport. So, basically, people will fly in to places like Phoenix or Flagstaff, or those are probably the two biggest airports around. And then they can just drive into there. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to start doing that kind of stuff because it's like a tourist destination. They have a reindeer farm up there. And the reason I bring all this up is because literally we're in like the suburbs of Williams. If Williams ever blew up, like properly, we would be, 20 minutes away from Williams.
The value of rocket then, right?
The value will, and that's the hope, because it's like, imagine if you could have bought, and Scottsdale is probably not a good example, but imagine if you could have bought in Flagstaff or even in Anthem. You buy 10, 20 years before there's even any town out there. And then all of a sudden here we are 10, 20 years later, and you got fucking, what property's got to be worth out there now. Stephanie told me a story about her grandpa who had a chance to buy something like 900 acres in North Scottsdale before it was anything. And he laughed and scoffed at the idea and literally said, why would I want to do that? It's the middle of the desert. It'll never be worth anything. And that's literally some of the most expensive real estate in the country. It drives me insane. Fucking boomers, man. I know some stories about your grandfather.
I've heard, but I don't know what's true.
Yeah, it's hard to say, right? Especially with your family.
I know that he originally moved here to start like an apple orchard or something.
Yeah, so as far as I know, they owned apple orchards property, or orchard properties in Washington, a bunch of it actually. And so they came out here when land was super cheap to try to start an apple orchard, I guess. I don't know why. I think it was just because land was so cheap. To start developing Arizona. Right in the 70s, probably, right when that big original land boom was going on. And ever since then, well, they owned a ton of property. And so they ended up owning property all over. Property here, property in Hawaii, property in Washington, probably someplace else. And they were that generation, the silent generation, the greatest generations.
What I heard.
Yeah, it had a bunch of boomer fucking kids that they gave everything to. By which I mean paid for education, down payments on a house, sometimes bought property. When you were a child, you knew some, like your uncle lived in an apartment complex right down the street from the apartment complex you lived in, right? It was Casa Hermosa, and then maybe 2 blocks down the road there was another apartment complex. No, it was in between there. There was one in between there. And you remember Grandpa lived there, Bud lived there for a while. Apparently, unbeknownst to us, Grandpa owned that. And he gave it to your Uncle Bud to manage. And that's why they were there. And that's why Grandpa was there too, before we all moved into Hinton Village. And he drove it into the ground and had to sell it and got no money for it. And right now, that's a $1 million property. You probably sell that right now $5 million. You know what I'm saying? So just think about that. And then even on top of that, your grandfather owned all this property, had these businesses, blah, 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 blah. Got into a car accident. This is how I heard it. He was in an avalanche, or his truck got crushed or something, and he got injured and got addicted to pills. But this was before you could just get all the pills, so he became an alcoholic.
Message from Nixie. Car was getting warm working up the mountain.
Yeah, it's a problem with doors. Sometimes the cars have issues. Turn on the heat, roll down the windows. The Escape is their best car, basically. Ford's. So
Well, that's what they got, is the Ford Escape.
probably should have checked the coolant levels.
Yeah, you're probably right. Shoot him up and just say you're going to stop for a cigarette at the next stop or something. And so, needless to say, he didn't stop paying taxes and they took everything. All of it. And his
GPS
children,
signal lost.
it was like your mom and your uncle and your aunts, while they got their down payments for their house and their cars and their education all paid for, they had nothing for us. Because they lost it all right before our generation.
Well, the way I heard it is that they opened the door for their children, and their children walked through it and closed it for
Yeah,
us.
that's pretty much how it goes. That's why all the markets are fucked up. That's why the job market's fucked up. The college market's all fucked up. Stock market's all fucked up. It's because of boomers. They literally just took the regulations off and fucking just trying to make it, grab as much as they can while they can. They're gonna bankrupt Social Security. They're gonna do all these fucked up things, and then they're gonna get theirs and then die, and then we're gonna be left cleaning it up. I heard once that it was like the first time since the Dark Ages that one generation that we've had it worse than the generation before ours, or whatever. They say, well, what about the Great Depression? It's like, no, the generation ended up doing okay anyway. But it's like, since the fucking Dark Ages, they were still, even though there was a Great Depression, they were able to leave the world a better place than they received it. And then here we are with the boomers, which are like the height of decadence. And they fucking, the first generation since the Dark Ages to leave the next generation worse off. Should we stop here?
I asked if they were stopping. Nobody's responding.
Okay.
In half a mile,
I didn't
merge
see
on
exactly
exit.
all what he said on your phone.
What was that?
I didn't read the text of all of what was happening.
Oh.
It said something about the car was getting hot.
Yeah, they said the car was getting hot coming up the mountain.
I haven't seen him in a while. Still haven't seen him.
Well, maybe we'll get to the 79 or the 69 or whatever. We'll stop there.
It's going to get interesting if your car breaks down.
The rental car. It's through Turo. I've never done it before.
Yeah, since it's peer-to-peer, you can't just call
Yeah.
roadside assistance.
So it's not that Junction 5? All right, hit this real quick.
Turn it off.
Yeah. So we were talking about our next purchase, right? Because we're getting into the real estate game. That was what we were talking about earlier with this Ashford property. 40 acres in Williams, suburbs in hopes that in another 10 or 20 years it may be worth some cash, right? We were even talking about how do you monetize this now. So I was like, oh, that's easy. It's so easy. Here's what you do. We're actually on the edge of, I think it's the Prescott Valley National Forest or something like that. And so 1 or 2 plots next to ours is National Forest. So the way you monetize it is you get a small storefront in Williams, 4x4 tours. And so we'll get a couple 4x4 Jeeps or trucks, you know, some with a big back seat, and we'll pick them up in Williams, drive them out to the Prescott National Forest or whatever that forest is, do some romping, take them back to our property and charge them to use the bathroom and buy drinks and have a tacky crab stand. And something else we could do, which lends into some other businesses we want to start, is you have a small shooting range. Let them shoot some 22. You know, I got a couple of Rough Riders, and which are single action revolvers with, you know, 6-inch barrels. They're like cowboy guns, but they shoot 22 long. Well, I guess they have the cylinders to do everything. They shoot any kind of 22. 22, 22 long, 22 mag.
How many shots in this one?
6. And you just swap them out. They have, you know, big ones and little ones, depending on what you want to do. And then we got some old, like a lever action and a bolt action 22 rifle, you know, that kind of stuff. Nothing too fancy, just some 22. And let them, you know, buy some rounds and plink off, because we have a private shooting range. You know, that kind of stuff. And then, like I said, drinks and bathrooms and tacky crap.
Did you guys already build like a berm for the shooting range? Or
No, it's actually in a valley. So it's in a natural valley. So we just shoot away from the road into a pre-existing backdrop.
Nice.
Yeah, we haven't actually done it yet. There's just a place to do it. Last time we went, we got too drunk and my foot was broke. So I didn't want to. You gotta. It involves a little bit of walking, by which I mean, you know, like 1/8 of a mile, maybe.
A couple hundred yards.
Yeah, it's not far, but it's up a hill and, you know, stuff. It's like I didn't want to do all that. So 89A. So bust out your thing, because I think that's us.
As fast as I can. Phone slow. Turn the gas back on. Okay, now it's refreshing.
No, you son of a bitch.
Continue for 14 miles.
Yeah, we got some time.
Okay.
Or wait.
Continue on Arizona 69 north for 1 mile.
Then what's it say?
Well, I think we were supposed to turn right.
Okay.
Well,
Look
no,
at.
this takes us straight to Prescott's.
Oh yeah. See if there's a. So this goes to Prescott.
Yeah,
Is you have it for set for Ashford, right?
I do.
Okay. So what is there?
89A will take us to Ashford.
Yeah. So this will take us to the 89A, right?
Oh no, wait. We did just pass the 89A.
Okay.
So we're still on the 69, but this will take us straight into Prescott.
See if there's a. Should we turn around?
Probably. My phone was just a little too slow.
Continue on Windmill Drive for half a mile.
Is this way?
Oh no, it's just reset.
So should we flip around?
Yeah,
Right?
that would be the easiest way.
I was gonna say, do you think there's Walmart or something in town? But we should probably get closer.
Turn left onto Arizona 69 south.
Alright.
Continue on Arizona 69 south for 3/4 of a mile.
So this will be the 89 we're going to get on, right?
Yeah, it's gonna take us to the 89A. Once we turn left up here, go down the road from there.
So that's what we were thinking as far as monetizing that property, right? That's what I thought would probably be the easiest way to do it.
Turn left onto Main Road.
That makes sense. And are you thinking Jeeps or like just side by sides?
No. Because you're going to need to drive them from Williams to the property, which is 20 minutes. 20 minutes of highway. So I'm thinking proper 4x4. So Jeeps, you know, like the pink Jeeps or whatever, like they did in Scottsdale. Because you're going to have to drive them out there, romp around, and then drive them back.
And they'd have to be enclosed, you would think.
Oh, I would probably do enclosed for sure. It's going to be climate controlled for one, and for two, it won't be dusty and stuff. But you could take them out to some places because it's in, I think it's called Butcher Knife Canyon or Butcher something Canyon, and they were actually going to make the highway run through there, this 89 that we're taking up. But they ended up finding caves that had Indian caves. So there was like,
Artifacts and shit.
oh yeah, artifacts and all kinds of stuff. And so they ended up not going through there because they would have had to mess with those. So, you know, those are the kind of things that are in the area. Take them to the water tank, take them up to the high point to go romping, take them up to the property because you'd have stuff there you could sell them, including a little shooting range and stuff. And I was just kidding about driving from the bathroom. And drinks, you know, you could have free waters and stuff, all as part of the thing. Even have free drinks and then sell them stuff like coffee and shit when you get up there.
That'd be my position. I could work a cafe slash, you know.
Well, you'd probably,
14 miles.
that would, ideally, you would have multiple tours that would go out a day. So you'd have somebody staying on property, cleaning up in between, prepping for the next one, and then you would just take turns driving trucks back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Right, so what did it say?
It says we're going to stay on this for 13 miles.
Okay.
It's going to keep it up, but not actually.
No, you don't need to. But what you do, so just stay on this road for 13 miles? There's no 89A or anything like that? Okay, so now look up like a Walmart or something, grocery store. Why does everybody get over like that? Oh, okay.
There's one on Prescott Valley.
Okay. So go to that and have us start to go there and see what it says. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Walmart. I mean, just any grocery store. That's not a dollar store. It's not a Dollar General. Who gets hot dogs from a dollar store? All right, moving on. So that would be monetizing that. And then so our next investment property we were looking at was, you remember when we were looking for a place to set up a grow operation? And we found that property out towards California. I forget the name of the town. Out past Tolleson even. More like 300 something Avenue. I forget what's out there. It's where Bud lives. Over by the power plant. Palo Verde or whatever. And so we found it was a few acres down there. It had already had water and power.
Message from Leon. 26 minutes Safeway Chino Valley.
Safeway, he said.
What's the one you got?
Oh, it's. It says we have to backtrack to the Walmart in Prescott Valley.
Okay, yeah, then just do that. So do,
Is it fries?
yeah, no, he said Safeway maybe?
Yeah, Safeway.
Chino Valley, something like that? Safeway Chino Valley?
Message from Leon. We'll pass it on the way to the BP Ranch.
Perfect. And so we were thinking of buying something like that on the edge of town, right? Hopefully towards California, because I think that'll probably be where the town grows out towards. But basically anywhere on the edge of town, and build like a trailer park. Cheap housing, super cheap housing, like the cheapest kind of housing. But do like a nice trailer park. So have you ever heard of these fivers, where it's like a building that's 5 stories tall, and the first floor is like commercial, and then the next 4 floors are residential, right? They're building them all over the place, a lot in Tempe, but something like that, except a trailer park. So imagine the front is commercial, and then everything behind it would be trailer park, residential basically. So it'd be like a fiver, but instead of building up, you build out backwards. So it'd be a trailer park with some commercial in front. So you'd have, like a Quickie Mart and some sort of laundromat, and whatever else you would use for that. And so that would be that's kind of our next thing. So we're thinking in a few years, when we can get out from under this property mortgage, we'll just turn around and get another one, and we'll buy a couple acres on the edge of town and turn it into low-income housing. And we could do all kinds of crazy shit. Buy storage units, or storage units would be another thing that we would sell. Storage space, like a U-Haul style thing. You can buy shipping containers pre-converted into storage units, and then you can just rent the space. And everybody always needs to rent space. So that'll be our next big one. We're going to branch off into speculative realty, from speculative realty, which is what we do now, into commercial. And by commercial, I mean like renting income, like income from renting space, that kind of like a generating property.
But you have to build the commercial building?
Oh, everything. Because realistically, we're talking about buying an empty plot of land that has water and power to it, and then building everything from there out. And that's what's really nice about a trailer park, is the only infrastructure you have to build is plumbing and power. Everything else, it comes with the house. Whereas, like you said, if we're going to build commercial, we're going to have to build all that stuff from scratch. So, well, that's it. So we would have to build a handful of commercial buildings in the front, and then everything, and then just have water and power hookups in the back. And then there'd be an HOA, and it would take care of a pool and a security guard, and you'd have big fences that go around the whole thing, and you'd make it as nice as you could.
You definitely have a pool.
Oh, I would have a pool for sure. That if you have an HOA, you better have a fucking. So, do we take this right?
I was saying go straight 89 south. It's going to take a second to refresh. Yeah, it says keep going straight for 6
Okay.
miles.
And this is going to get us to that.
Yeah, the Chino Valley. Prescott.
Okay.
Safeway. We do have to take exit 317 at 6 miles.
Okay.
That'll just be the 89. Straight along there. That's the Safeway. It's 19 minutes, 15 miles.
To the Safeway?
Yeah.
You keep changing what you're saying.
Well, sorry, it's 6 miles to the.
Oh, 6 miles to the 89?
The 317 exit, which is the 89.
And then we take that north?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the total mileage is 15. Our next exit is 5.5.
So that's what we're thinking of doing for the next property. They would have a laundromat and a Quickie Mart, convenience store. Maybe even like a little bodega, coffee shop, because you gotta have the nice coffee. That kind of stuff. I got all hookups for all the C-store stuff too.
It's a pretty big initial investment, isn't it?
Well, the property itself is not very much. Building the stuff would be quite a bit. But I'm thinking, because of what it is, the renting potential, the money generating potential is huge right off the bat, because you know that there's a huge house crunch right now. Low income housing is, what's needed the most. So right away you're going to start generating income. So that's why I'm thinking we could initially buy the property and then take out some sort of loan because of the potential. If we turned it into, it wouldn't even have to be that big, because at first don't do the commercial stuff first, do all the trailer park stuff first, because then all you need to do is build water and power hookups and you're good to go. And that's not going to be hardly anything. Like I said, there's no infrastructure. You might have to build a small building as a junction point for everything, and then you're just talking about running buried lines, and then come up into little pillars that you can hook shit into, and you're good to go. That's going to be practically nothing as far as building costs go.
Is there insurance and like licenses you have to apply for?
Yeah, I'm sure, but Arizona is very friendly towards the rentors, not the people that rent, but the people that rent space. So the laws are very beneficial to them. And I have some very limited experience, not on the law side of it, but working in rental properties. So I know how the whole thing goes. As far as my limited knowledge of it, I got a pretty good idea. How's that? And so that's it. That's the whole thing. Buy a couple acres, run water and power. I mean, I'm sure they have like a land map where you could plug it into like a model and say, I got this 3 acre squared piece of property, right? And I want to maximize it. I want a pool, a road that runs through it, it does a little horseshoe or whatever, and then some buildings in the front. Now, how many trailer lots can I get on there? And then it'll generate all the lots or whatever, and adjust this a little bit, do this, you can squeeze in one more lot, and then all of a sudden you got 50 lots, right? Each one's giving you $200. I mean, what's 50 times 200 every month? It adds up very fast. And then, a lot of people have RVs and stuff, so they have these like nationwide parks that you pay this, let's say it's $5,000 a year, but you can use any of these parks. And so you basically just go up and you would sell part of your park, would be rental spots. You've seen them all the time. RV parks, and this is where RV rental was. Where we just were was like that. Oh, so here's 319. So you said 317? And so, yeah, just like where we just were.
In 1.5 miles, take exit 317 for Arizona 89 toward I-40, Fresco.
And then it's going to be off that somewhere? Okay. And then so that'll generate income. And that'll be empty spots. And then, you'd probably have like some truck stop stuff. Or a place where truckers could pull in and take a shower. Who knows, right? I don't know. I know I'm not that familiar with it, but I could think of a handful of things just right off the bat. And then you get some cheap housing. That's what I was saying. They sell those converted, shipping containers. We were looking into making a cabin out of it, right? You can they do some pretty cool stuff. Offices, storage units, and residential units too. And so you can just buy pre-built, drop them anywhere. And anything, if it's cheap enough, people will rent it. Doesn't matter where it is. And that's why I want to do it, like within an hour of downtown. So, take the 10 out, 45 minutes. Where'll that put you? 290th Avenue? 300th Avenue? Boom, there you go. That way you could stay there and then just, commute into town. And then just start, buying fucking trailer parks, making trailer parks. So you could have a whole new niche, kind of like retirement trailer parks, but I would never do it exclusively for old people. But, where they do have those now. They're gated, 55 plus communities that have pools, and they're clean and have security guards and stuff. Anything, that's what HOA should pay for, security guards and pools. And they have all that stuff, but they're boomers only, so avoid them like the plague.
Well, would you have to have advertisements? Like, would it be like, visible enough for people to just
hopefully you do it right on the edge of the freeway, so people driving by can just see it. Okay, now what do we do? Chino Valley?
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, pretty right on.
In 800 feet, keep right at the fork. Follow signs for Airport Chino Valley.
So it's, yeah.
Keep right at the fork.
And you're getting us
In half a
to.
mile, at the traffic circle, take the second exit and stay on State Highway 89 north.
Okay. That'll be the hope. And then, kind of spiral out from there. Because I have a feeling that's where you're going to make your money.
Would you be a landlord or a slumlord at that point?
Well, probably not a slumlord because I'd want to make it nice. But yeah, basically, I could do a lot of the work myself as far as handyman stuff goes. And you even know a guy that'll do it too. And then once you get well enough established, you just rent all that stuff out. I worked for a company, a property management company called Graystar, and they were huge. They were like the second biggest or even largest property management company in the country. And they would do is buy properties,
Exit the
fix them
traffic
up,
circle
and then
onto State
sell
Highway
them.
89 north.
And they would make so much money. We did this property. It was 160 units, sold for $14 million.
14?
$14 million, yeah. And they were all the same, 2-bedroom, 1-bath. I think I want to say 900 square feet. All the same, exactly the same. A whole 160 units, all of them exactly the same. But it was on the border of Scottsdale and Tempe. And so it just sold for so much fucking money. The owners took us out that night, and obviously all expenses paid at Olive and Ivy. And then about 2 hours into our party, drinks, everything, every open bar. We're just sitting there getting drunk, and these fucking high-end call girls show up. I mean, like thousands of dollars call girls. You could tell by looking at them that they were fucking money. And they just, owners got up and left with them, and I was like, man, that's the fucking life right there.
I've considered, dropping $1,000 on a call girl.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I could
Who's
say
got that kind of money?
That's
We get
these days.
Yeah, right. You get 4 $250 girls.
No, but to be with it's just an absolute
It's more of that $1
state.
million life kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's call girls are the fucking least of it.
Yeah, just follow the crowd.
Damn, did you see the profile on that one? Fuck. Somebody kicked that bitch in the face. So yeah, so that was it. And so I got some idea. I think something kind of like that to get into it. But that's where your money's at. And the laws are all weird out here for people that make money through renting. It's like untaxable, or it's taxed at a very low rate. Because there's a good lobby in Arizona for people that own rental properties.
For the renters.
For the
rentees.
rentors, not the renters. But yeah, exactly. And so you basically, the income you generate from rental properties is tax-free. And there's a lot of shit like that. Anything you put into it's like a deduction. And I know a lot of people personally that have a lot of rental properties. You like the Longhorn out here, huh? And what they do is they buy new stuff for their house, put it in their house, put their old stuff in the rental properties, and then write it off as improvements, tenant improvements, and things like that.
Like rich people.
Yeah. Yeah, it drives me insane. And so I want to be like that, but I'm never going to win the lottery or inherit money or, anything along those lines.
You gotta play to win.
Well, yeah, but you got a better chance of getting struck by fucking lightning. I got a better chance of winning a poker tournament for $10 million, like winning the World Series of Poker, than I do winning the Powerball. I could go be a professional gambler and I'd have a way better chance of being rich than I would by playing the fucking lottery. So you got to make it for yourself. And I've been told numerous times by rich people that that's how you make your money. It's all rental property. Renting out commercial property, renting out, I guess, rental, like That's just how you make your money. Owning property that you rent, because you basically, the renters pay to fix it up, and then you get all the benefit. So they pay you to live there, they pay you to fix it, they pay for everything to keep going. It basically takes care of itself if you're doing it right. Is that water?
It does look like it.
Solar panels?
Solar is more likely.
And so that's how you're supposed to make that money.
This day and age, they say realty is best money maker.
They've been saying it literally my whole life. They say real estate's made more millionaires than anything else, and I believe it. And I have been very blessed, just in my life, not by God, because I don't believe in God, but just in general, like lucky. You know how I sometimes am just lucky, and I get, like, I bought my house at the right time, I did this at the right time, I moved at the right time.
You got lucky with selling that.
I got so lucky with selling the house and buying the new one. And it's like, you know, I sold my old house downtown. I made twice what I paid for it, more than twice what I paid for it, more than twice what I owed. And then I used all that money to buy a new house on the edge of town in like the suburbs that was twice the size, 5-bedroom, 2-bath when I bought it. And I had enough money to put a new roof and a new bathroom in it. And so now it's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath. It's like 2,100 square feet. Thing's fucking huge. And now it's worth 3 times what I owe, twice what I paid for it. You know, it's like, holy shit. And then,
a few years.
yeah, and then most of the people my age aren't ever going to be able to own property.
You'll be coming up on the right before too long.
How long? We're going to be making a right?
Yeah, you'll definitely get to see it.
On that, and this, you're right.
Yeah.
Not stage right.
Oh, no, yeah. Right side of the car. There's one more little weird traffic thing. A few streets down.
Yeah, look at this forlorn ass place. Here, flip this bad boy around. See if we dust devil blowing across these windswept, desolate plains that are fucking. Where are we? Chino Valley?
Yeah.
So stay on the 89?
Yeah. No, this is a sad place, especially.
Yeah, you know, this is like a Mormon town. Where was I? Snowflake? I was on the border of New Mexico. We were looking at some property out in St. John's. So we stayed up in Shola, which was beautiful, by the way. Out of all these shitty little towns I've been to, St. John's is the nicest. And we went to St. John's, and we were up. I was just out cruising around like I always do on vacation. And I went to Snowflake. I haven't been there since I was a child. It was horrific. I mean, you could just see everybody was walking around dressed like Mormons. The women's were in the dress, the men were in the fucking suits. You could tell they were wearing their fancy underwear through their clothes. Right, how far down is it? Is it coming up here somewhere?
This is 2 miles.
2 miles. And so, these fucking people. And so the nicest building in town was the Dairy Queen, because it was the newest building. You know, it was like a new corporate Dairy Queen. Everything else was fucking old and beat to shit. And I stopped. I actually went and picked up Stephanie and the baby and brought her back because they were having some little church junk sale, you know, like parking lot sale where all these fucking hicks get together and they sell their shit like a little swap meet. And it was so bad. I wanted her to see it because she was like, "Oh, it's so beautiful up here." Okay, come with me. I found the cutest thing. And took her to some podunk ass swap meet in Snowflake.
Show her the local flavor.
Yeah, exactly. She was dressed like a harlot, even though it was the winter, so she was ankle to fucking, you know, wrist. But because she wasn't dressed like a Mormon woman with the big puffy shoulder
Giving her a
pads,
side eye.
yeah, exactly. It was just like that. They're like, "Look at these opulent out of towners." It's like, I'm from the city, bitch.
Message from Leon.
Pass it on the right.
We're looking at about 6 minutes to get to the Safeway. It'll be on the right.
The only problem I have as an adult is I have neck problems.
What do you mean?
Just like I'll wake up and I need a lot of pain, stiffness, causing tension headaches.
Yeah, I got you. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but I think Donna has the same issue. So.
I do not. Like I said, my back will probably be stiff because I didn't bring my shot pads. I forgot them, but like I said, I don't really have any. Standing funny makes my foot hurt. But again, that's like, well, I'm talking about being on a ladder all day. A lot of the times I just have to stand alone. Okay, that's not me. This is just what it smells like out here.
Burning something.
Yeah, but like I said, that's not us. Alright, so...
Yeah, just a little, like next, like not this one.
Not this one, but the next one? Okay.
And even in the city it smells pretty weird sometimes, so I always make sure to circulate the cabin air instead of...
I don't, because I'm always smoking joints in here. So I don't want it to just reek like weed all the time.
Get in your cabin filter and then...
It's back in there. Yeah. So that's why I keep it like this. Just blow straight out. And then that way I can... Because this stuff, I got some really great stuff. This stuff made by some fucking hippie who moved to California, so I can't even get it anymore. Some chronic killer. So like here?
No, I guess it is the next one.
Next one? Okay.
Yeah, this one's not even showing up as a light. No GPS.
Road 1 North.
West Road 1 North.
Oh my god. See,
That's
they don't
east.
even have proper fucking... Yeah, it runs east to west. Oh my god. That's Chino fucking Valley for you. There is actually a burger place that we stopped at here. A guns yard sale. You think they're selling guns at the yard sale?
Well, I mean, you are allowed to sell guns person to person.
They call it peer-to-peer. Here's the used car lot.
Old, that's like really old Taurus, I think. It'll be this one.
Okay. And it just, we'll be able to see it from the street. What the fuck is that?
Oh, this would be a really good.
So does it say turn right at the light? What does it say?
Yeah. Be just down the street, I guess.
Okay. Turn. Sure it's saying turn right? Oh, that's the place.
Yeah, it'll be right at the light, and there's a stop sign. Then you turn left, or you can go straight for a bit, but this is the better way.
Okay. Well, even with the trailer.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it's right there. This town's kind of bumping for how shitty it is. Look at all these cars.
This is one of those, the nicest place in town is going to be your KFC/Taco Bell, because it's like the newest building. Even though this shopping complex doesn't look too bad, honestly.
I feel like whatever this place is called. I say Cortez.
Cortez? No, I thought this was Chino Valley.
Chino. One of those Mexican names. I feel like this place is up and coming because it's so close to the valley.
Yeah, but we're a little farther out than I'd like, because what are we, like an hour plus?
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
probably
it's...
make it just a little over an hour. I'm gonna have to take 2 spots.
I'm always going to have to take 2 spots. That's why we came all the way to the back. Oh, there we go. I think we should go over there. I should go over there. Kind of to the edge. Really get out of its way. Take 4 spots.
Out here, I don't think anyone's gonna.
Nah, I don't think anybody's gonna care.
That's the next leg of the race.
Well, we're actually getting pretty close. We're more than halfway there.